Not gonna be on here for too long. Just wanted to talk about a few things, a few observations. Might wait for a few people to come in. That's one. What's going on, Valerie? It's been a long time. All right. Maybe I can get one or two more people in here. Oh, well, I'm finna save it anyway, so it don't matter. I wanted to get on here and talk about, I don't want to call it spiritual arrogance. I want to call it, well, let's just call it that, because I guess, sometimes, we can be on our spiritual journey and we get so caught up in our own light, or we get caught up in our own spiritual growth and how far we've come that we have a tendency. I won't say we. I'll just speak for myself. I have a tendency, or I'll sometimes not see myself, or maybe not even hear myself when I'm talking, or I don't pay attention to the context when I speak on things, especially because I'm a Sagittarius, so I can be pretty blunt about some things. But I mean, yes, it's important that you can't worry too much about how people may feel. If people get their feelings hurt because you feel confident about yourself, then or so be it. Then that's on them. It has nothing to do with you. But at the same time, balance is necessary because you don't want to step on people's toes or make people feel like they're less than you because you've come so far on your journey. Everybody is on their own, have their own path. Not everybody reincarnated into this world to be on this spiritual journey. Some people really came here to be themselves. That doesn't mean that they don't have any value, or they're less than you, or they don't have anything to offer as far as wisdom is concerned, or what have you. So, and the reason why I'm speaking on this is because, last week, a family member of mine, he kind of pointed it out. You kind of got to watch, when you speak to certain people, you don't want to make it seem like you're better than them, or you're higher than them, or you're, how should I put it? Because I want people to really understand where I'm coming from, Okay, I'll just use it as an example. We going out, and then, some of us, we are empaths, so we can't really mingle with everyone, or, we can't, we don't like to go into big crowds because we're so strong of empaths, and, you're feeling everybody's consciousness and energy, and it can be a bit uncomfortable. And, or you don't want to do the things that you used to do, like, or go to the club, or go to parties and mingle with certain people. And, you might say something like, oh, my vibration too high for that kind of shit, or I'm too spiritually high to be mingling with the likes of, you know what I'm saying? We can't, not to say that I'll be talking like that, but, you can mess around and offend people when you don't pay attention to the context of how you're speaking on things, or when you speak about yourself, just because, you made it to a certain point doesn't make you better than anybody. And I feel like I gotta stress that because sometimes, what's up, bro? What's up, Yashua? Shoot, I lost my train of thought. I was saying, sometimes we can, that happens. I lose my train of thought. But basically, what I'm saying is, you kind of want to watch how you approach certain things. Like, it's probably better to say that kind of activity is, it's just not for me anymore, or I was never really into that sort of thing because, we can be different. A lot of us are different. We handle things different. We feel things differently, being an empath. And, you don't want to offend people to make them feel like, they, for an example, I said my vibration is too high to be messing with certain girls or certain people, and a friend of mine or a family member of mine, he kind of, I don't know if he got offended, but he did point out that, you got to kind of watch the context of how you say things, because it's like I'm saying that their vibration is low and my vibration is high because I don't want to indulge in those activities. And I didn't mean to offend, but, when you don't pay attention, or when you can't see yourself, because we don't always see ourselves when we're talking. And, we can mess around and offend people, but I get it, when you sitting on that mountaintop, by yourself for so long, you kind of get disconnected a little bit. So, it's, you kind of don't notice when you are being a little, I don't want to say arrogant, but, well, I mean, that's how people would take it. So that's all I'm just going to say that. Being arrogant, spiritually arrogant. We're not better than anybody. That's really the whole point of getting to this spirituality in the first place. Understanding that everybody has their own journey and their own path. So, just because, I learned all of this metaphysics, this occult science and whatnot, it doesn't make me better than nobody. It doesn't make me smarter, because you could be smart in your own way and you're not into the spirituality. You could still be in a church. You could still be into religion and all that good stuff. It doesn't make them less of a person than you. That just means that they're on a different walk of life. They're on a different path. They're on a different journey. A lot of people can't even stay on this spiritual path because they just wasn't ready, and I can see how some people can get into this spirituality, and it may seem like the cool thing to do because you see so many people, they in a tarot, they making money off of it and whatnot, and they got these gifts, or we got these gifts, because I do tarot and I do have gifts of all sorts. Like, I'm an activator and I speak the light language, and not everybody can do that. How you doing? Soul walking with Sandra. How you doing, Sandra? It's been a while. People see that and they like, oh, I want to be a part of that, or I want to do that, but they don't know what it takes to actually, get into this kind of a thing, or, be that type of person. Like, you can't, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. And, yeah, so it's just like, kind of like, it's just balance. You gotta have some balance for yourself. Like, I've been studying the Kabbalah and whatnot, the 3 pillars, and there's a right side, there's a right pillar, then there's a left pillar, and then there's one in the middle. I'm not finna go into the whole science of the Kabbalah, but what I'm basically saying is sometimes we gotta have balance. Stay in the middle. Because you don't want people to, we're not trying to offend people or step on people's toes and whatnot. Or that's not my intentions, But, yeah. I feel like I had more to offer than that. Like I said, I wasn't going to be on here for too long. I just wanted to really speak on that. like I said, just because we're on the spiritual journey, just because we have these gifts, just because we have these abilities, it don't make us better than nobody. It takes a lot to get into this stuff. It takes a lot of work. You know, a lot of us spend a lot of time crying and shedding tears, you know, doing away with things that no longer serve us, you know, in our temple. You know, we've been through a lot and we have to do a lot of healing in order to get to this certain point, you know. So I just don't want people to feel like I think I'm better than anybody, you know, because I don't. I never thought that about myself. I never thought of myself like I'm better than anybody back then, you know. Um, huh. um, it's like you can still, like I said, you can still people still have things to offer. Like, I keep losing my train of thought. I ain't write nothing down. I didn't. I just wanted to come on here and speak on this subject of, you know, balance and, you know, just kind of watching the context and how we speak on things or how we speak about ourselves and how we may carry ourselves. It's kind of like, it was a good example, you know, like when they go to college, when people start going to college and whatnot, and they done learn all of this stuff. They done mingle with so many different people, and they done come so far in life. They done become a whole new person. And then when they come back, say for an example, they come back to the hood, and then they try to talk to them like they're just so much smarter than everybody, like the niggas in the hood and whatnot. But that, like, you never came from there. Like, you damn near forgot where you came from. And that's not what this is. That's not how we doing. That's not what we're doing. We don't forget where we come from. In fact, this is what this is all about. You know, accepting where we came from, and it's all part of the journey. Because when we reincarnated into this world, we really we chose. People don't. Not many people understand this, or probably are going to accept this. But we chose every experience that we've Sorry, I'm just talking right now. I'm not really inviting. I might invite right afterwards when I get done. But yeah, we choose. We've chosen our experience before we got here. So it's Where was I going with that? We chose our experience before we came here. So brain fart. Like I said, I didn't write nothing down. I just got on here. I just wanted to speak on this. I guess I will invite some people so I can, you know, have on Instagram or any type of social media. Hey.
Hey, I wanted to tell you that all day today, that's all I've been thinking about is flow state,
Mm-hmm.
right? Being in the flow of what we awaken to, our gifts, our
Right.
our 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 expression of us, being the full expression of the divine as we're
Mm-hmm.
waking up to all these gifts and talents, not
Mm-hmm.
being greater than anybody
Right.
and not being lesser than anybody and being called to serve. And as we serve, the divine takes care of all our needs.
Right.
Everything's already met. That was already pre planned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our higher beings already said, this is what we want to do when we go to Earth School. And these are the glorious bodies that we're creating to do it in.
Right.
And right, and giving us that glorious, they didn't think, oh, I'm going to make this person black so he'll have a bad experience. I'm going to make this person, a little bit lighter, a lighter shade of brown, and they're going to have this experience. They just create it with their intent and their energy, and this is what we got created. And we're all beautiful, all
Mm-hmm.
8 billion of us on the world.
Right.
We all know it, Probably not, you
Right.
know. And am I here to, when I was going through my born again Christian stage,
Mm-hmm.
I I acclimated to saying exactly what everybody else was saying, telling everybody, you're born of sin, you're sinful. If you don't believe on Jesus, you're going to go to hell. And I said it so much that one day I said it and I felt the vibration of that, and it didn't feel good
Mm.
because I was feeling like I was better than other people. I was clued in, I was jacked in, and I'm better than you. And until you get this way, right?
Right.
And until I really had my awakening and realized that when I awakened to all my gifts, it's not to make me better than anybody. It's
Right.
to help them awaken to their gifts. It's for me to plant a seed or for me to be the waterer, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, or who knows, maybe I'm supposed to be there when they till their harvest and fully awaken. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
whatever the thing is, but I'm not better than anybody else. And all day I've been trying to think of a way to say it in 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 30 seconds, on those quick reels. And it's like, no, you can't say that in 30 seconds. But look here, this guy sitting on his couch, chilling, and he's saying all my words that I'm thinking. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Right? Thank you so much. And that's all I came on here to say. I'm not about stealing people's lives and thunder. I
No,
just
no, don't
say
worry about it. It's all
thank
right.
you.
I appreciate you coming on to this live and sharing your thoughts because that's divine. Like, because, I really just don't, like, I have family members that, you know, they don't like a thing that I post, but I don't take offense to it because they don't understand and they're not walking the same path. I still love them with all of my heart. And hopefully, like you just said, I can plant a seed. I got friends that aren't into this life, but they still love me as a human, as their friend.
Right,
And I still talk to them, I still give them advice. I still, you know, show who I am, but I don't force it upon nobody.
right,
I, and I don't want to do that. I don't want them to feel like, oh, if you're not on this walk, if you're not on this journey, if you don't know the things that I know, you can't be cool with me, or you can't talk to me, or we can't conversate. No, we can talk about something else. We can build on other things that we can both take and that'll help us grow in any
you
area that
see,
may be.
I am so glowing. I see my eyes. It's like, oh man, he's saying all of my words, and my soul is just like, yes, this is what I needed to hear today.
Right.
And I needed to hear it from the divine masculine. Do
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because
Nicola Caperes.
I have a lot of masculine people in my life, in my family, that aren't they haven't they're living life. When we as spiritual beings, whether we're male or female,
Mm-hmm.
say to ourselves, okay, we're conscious, we're aware, blah blah blah, and they're unaware, or
Mm-hmm.
they're unconscious, and we make that a bad thing. They're not. They're only unconscious to the fact that they haven't woken up to their higher being part of the triunion that they are. That's
Mm-hmm.
all. But they're still living life, and they're still making choices, and they still need people who can support them in that, who
Right.
can who can help, lead them. It's not I've heard so much where spiritual people have said, I've got all this energy, I've got this higher energy, I've got this whatnot, and say that I'm called to serve, but then when you go to serve, somebody comes to you with a lower density energy, you don't want to serve them because you don't want to mess up your energy, you know and I'm
Mm-hmm.
going, I don't understand that. We're supposed to, when we came in and we woke up, we're supposed to bring the light of the realm of the absolute, or that's named heaven, whatever you want to call it, and we're supposed to bring it into the world.
Right.
So how
Right.
can we be afraid of the light that the divine gave us when we woke up to it, right?
Right.
Just I'm just going, and then to see you here just chilling and saying the words just flowing, and it's like hit me like lightning bolts, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that, here we are, the divine masculine is saying that he's divine, but he's not better than you. Let me just be part of your life. Let us just keep going. When I get ready to drop a seed, I'll just drop a seed and I'll keep going. I'm not going to make you responsible
Mm-hmm.
for taking it in and digging it deep. I'm just going to give you a little tidbit, and we're going to talk about, football or music or something else.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for expressing that, because man, like, you know, I was kind of running out of thoughts. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
I was running out of ways that I could really express it, because before I got onto this live, I had so many ways that I could talk about this, and it was on my mind for a while. And the thing is, I was on the verge of burning bridges, and because I just didn't want to deal with certain things. But then I had to remind I talked to my auntie, and she told me, it was like, you can't, you don't have to do that. You don't have to burn bridges or nothing like that, because you just gotta look at it from a different perspective.
Yeah.
We have to change that perspective.
We've got that inner standing.
Mhm,
We can go inward, and instead of allowing our egoic mind, that part of our mind that just wants to jump to a conclusion and run with it, we have that understanding where we can take things and discern it. And I crossed that too, about burning bridges. But when I was a kid, it never sounded right to me, and I literally had to, I blurted it out one day to my mom, and my mom was, I don't know, I think I was in double digits, maybe 10 or 11. I know it seems young to have those embodying questions, but I've been doing it since I was like 3 years old, asking
mhm,
questions and scaring adults. But I said, why do I have to leave? Is it okay to leave somebody behind? I didn't understand, if you burn the bridge, what about all the other people that want to cross it too,
mhm,
right? If we look at our bridge, my mother kind of sort of explained it, and later I kind of figured it out, what she explained. It didn't make sense as a child. It was an answer to a question, but it didn't make sense until right now.
mhm,
And when we're burning when we're burning bridges, we expect people to find another way around to get to us. But if we're walking across that bridge and we're walking into different, higher, vibrational dimensions, and we want people to follow us, not follow us because we're perfect, but we want people to follow us because we planted a seed. And that seed is tethered to us to maybe be watered, or maybe show somebody to another place that it can be watered. How do they cross that bridge if we're burning it?
mhm. Right.
So my mother just said, you leave the bridge intact, and sometimes you have to turn around and extend your hand,
You do.
right?
Sometimes.
And
Some.
I was like, oh, but you can't do it if the bridge is burnt, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's not about you letting go of things. It's about us seeing where we're going to take ourselves to the next step.
Mhm,
What we're going to surrender. And if we're going to surrender in love, that means that the
mhm,
people that are on the bridge behind us saying, oh, just, I've had people say, well, that spiritual mamby-pamby, don't worry, you'll be back on the right side of the Lord, and that whole kind of thing. And, and going and turning back and looking at them and going, I love you anyway.
right.
I love you anyway. And my bridge is here when you want to cross it, to ask me a question or sit with me to talk, or even if you want me to hold space and pray or meditate for you.
Mhm,
But I'm going to keep walking the bridge. I'm going to leave it intact. And if you want to come across it, come on, right? And just remember that sometimes you got to turn around and hold your hand out for someone to
Right.
cross it. You know?
Right. And the thing is, like, what I've noticed is that when we get into this spirituality, and I watched a lot of tarot reads, just so I could, spruce up my skills a bit. I've noticed that it's a common thing to just cut people off, to just stop dealing with people, or maybe you've been in a relationship and like it's like forgive, but then you don't deal with them no more. You don't want to give. It's like second chances is not a thing in
Mm,
this spiritual walk, and I don't think that's necessary. Not for everybody. I mean, you got to use your discernment.
yeah,
Like I said earlier, you got to have balance. So you got to really like just you know, okay, is it really that big of a deal that this person really, you know what I'm saying? Is this really his that person's intention to do wrong, or did he just make a mistake?
yeah,
You know? Did they just make a mistake? Did they just miscalculate, man? Now, because like what happens is we burn that bridge, and then it's either one or two things is going to happen. This person is either going to get offended and say "fuck it"
and
and leave you alone,
mhm,
or they're going to be like, "Oh damn, I I didn't think about it like that." So then when they try to catch up to you, they can't because they can't get to you because it's a big gap
yeah,
that they can't get around.
right.
So
It's a big fucking. It's not a big. It's a big fucking gap that
yeah,
they jump over, that they can't um, go down and climb up.
right. It's
It's
too low for you to use a pole vault over there.
over it, right? Yeah, yeah. I remember hearing Michael Beckwith break down the word mistake, and he said miss hyphen take. Everybody does it all the time. That's part of our learning experience. That you mistake something, and then you get to take it over and make a different choice,
hmm
right? And
hmm
everybody on this planet gets to do that. That's part of the whole journey that we're doing. That's the whole thing for Earth School, and it's not supposed to be perfect,
Right,
right? Um,
right.
Me personally, I don't believe that. I don't believe in the original sin. I don't believe that I was born of an original sin. I believe that Adam and Eve probably were real people, but I don't believe that I was made accountable for what they did. I
Right.
don't I don't believe that the divine created us in the story, moves in through and as us, and then says, well, I'm going to look at myself through you, and I'm going to call myself a sinner. It just doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense when I was like 12 years old, and it still doesn't. Okay. But that's me. I
hmm
believe that this third density, this polarity that we're living in, gives us infinite possibilities to choose the most glorious journeys ever. And through it, we're going to make mistakes,
Right.
you know, and we want other people to give us allowances for the mistakes we make. Therefore, we need to do the same. The law of attraction or the law of cause and effect is applicable here. What I put out, I'm going to get back. If I'm
Right.
going to give people grace, I'm going to get back grace, right?
Facts. Facts.
Like, man, thank you for the conversation. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
You know,
Uh, wow.
mm.
I think I don't know if we touched on everything, but that
Yeah,
was
yes,
that was basically the context of it. I didn't really want to make this too long, but
yeah, I understand, but just long enough for me work through some things that I wanted to say today, but
mhm.
I didn't know how to get it in those uh those little short reels. And then when I was doing my lives, for some reason my lives just aren't being pushed out there, and my ego was having me concentrate too much on this,
Mhm.
on that point, the whole thing that it's not moving. I
I'm,
literally, uh-huh.
I'm glad you said ego. I didn't mean to cut your
No,
wisdom, but one of the things that I wanted to point out is that we also get into the spiritual journey. We kind of forget we still have an ego, which means we are still a part of this world. We're just not of it. You know what I'm saying?
thank you. Yeah,
So that doesn't. So you can't separate. It's just like you know how everybody is your reflection, right?
yeah, yes.
So you meet. I have to constantly remind myself that when I meet certain people, and then I'll be like, "Oh, I wouldn't do that," or "I wouldn't carry myself like that." But then again, that's a reflection. There's some part of you that is still resonating on that frequency.
Yes.
That I don't know. I wouldn't say that that means you still have more work to do. I would say that you're still human.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
And the thing,
God's having a human experience.
thank
We
you.
came here to be this very thing. So don't. It's like what I learned about the Kether, and how, which I kind of came up in my mind. That's the Luciferian energy coming. That the star, the star coming down to the Mal. Was it the Malkuth
Is it
to the
like
bottom?
the morning star? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's coming down. Basically, we came down here just to climb right back up that ladder.
Yes.
So we came here to be this, to experience all of this. So you just don't, just don't forget.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't kill. You can't. Energy was neither created nor can it be destroyed. Your
Hmm.
ego is energy within you. Your
Hmm.
ego was created to protect you, while,
Right.
while your higher being took up resonance in your dense body as you were being born,
Hmm.
right? And then as your higher being awakens, as you start living life, all life, you start doing things and you start tapping into all the choices, even the negative ones. Your
Hmm.
higher being starts chiming in, maybe like a whisper. You might be living a whole lot of what they call in the world, blah blah blah,
Hmm.
but you're human. You're supposed to do that
Right.
because then as your higher being and your inner body, your body, your higher being, that is the consciousness of the divine moving in through and as your body consciousness and your mind consciousness come online as the triune creator that you are. You're still going to have that little subroutine called your ego, because your ego was put there for a purpose, and
Right.
it's thinking that it has to keep doing the purpose. But now you have to retrain your egoic mind by observing it and giving it
Hmm.
new updates, because
Yeah.
your ego wasn't it's not like your phone. Your phone tells you when it's time for an update, and then you let it update. But your ego has a little fractured, limited view of what the form life is. It's the form part of you. It's your body part of you. It's good.
Hmm.
It's going to look at you trying to run across the street on a red light and make you stop, right?
Right.
By almost getting hit by a car,
Right.
right? But once you start retraining it with the formless you are, saying, "I see you. I see what you're trying to do. I see that you're presenting me with fear. I don't want the fear. Let me show you what I want instead." And
Mm.
then the divine, your higher being, says, "Oh, he's being aware. Let's help out," right? The formless says, "Ooh, we got this. We can vibrate some, just like sitting on our couch, you and me talking. We can vibrate some good shit,
Right.
right?" And then your ego says, "Shit, he's aware that I'm here right now. I got to move to the background, just to the background of him, and I got to watch this all play out." But when your ego's watching it all play out, it gets a little bit more information, and it merges back with that which created it, your conscious mind. God,
Hmm.
the divine, the awareness, the Jehovah consciousness, the Jesus consciousness, the Muhammad consciousness, whatever you want to call it, is like he didn't miss, he, she, it, they did not miss a step.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, whoa, thank you for letting me say this, because I haven't said it in so long.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I started my Instagram, so that people can know that the laws of attraction are there for them. It was created by the divine for you as tools, but you got to get into you, who you are and what you want, instead of doing what the Joneses are doing,
Right.
or doing what the commercials tell you to do. They're
Mm-hmm.
telling you what you want. They're telling you what the algorithm is. They get you excited about the algorithm, and then the algorithm is about you not be able to spend more than 90 seconds or 30 seconds on anybody's. You just got to flip. And they're telling you that's who you are in this new algorithm. But dig down deep, right? If we dig down deep and we get to the core of our soul or our higher being and find out what they chose to use your, not to use you for, but they came here to feel something. They came here to be something. They came here to be who they are in formless, in form.
Yes.
But only you are going to know that, and only you can sit at the seat of your soul and ask that embodying question. No amount of cards or no amount of listening to somebody speak light language is going to do what you need to do for you.
Right. That's true.
Uh, Light language can hold a space so that you can get there. The cards can give you a gauge on how to get there, but for
Mm-hmm.
you to do the work, for us to do the work, we have to get there. What did
Right.
I want? When I started reading the Raw Chronicles, that our souls were moving up the density, and they came here to learn about the negative and positive polarities of duality. That gave me a whole new conversation. It's okay, now I really need to sit down with the seat of my soul, because I want my soul, while I'm in this body, to express all that it needs to move back up the polarities, back to join with the divine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ah, you kind of want to do that, ah, and go, oh, Oprah can't be the only one that has an aha moment, right?
Right. Right.
Like, oh, there's so much shit that you need to know, right? And I don't, and I jumped off the iceberg tip, and I took the deep dive, but I haven't even gotten past the surface of it. I'm just underneath the surface, and there's so much more for me to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And
so much for allowing me to come in. Thank you,
no
thank you.
problem. No problem. You said exactly what I've been trying to say, but in your own way, but very well put. I couldn't have said it better myself. And you're giving me jewels to drop. Like, for an example, like I said, I mentioned the ego and how it's necessary and needed because um in order for you to reach people, in order for you to plant that seed, you got to meet them where you're at. Like I said, you can't go to college and then think that you learned all of this stuff and then come back and tell the niggas in the hood, oh yeah, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, and they're gonna be looking at you like, so what, you think you better than me? You think you better than me? Well, that Chris Rock said that in a stand-up comedy show one time.
Yeah,
Because it's so true. It is so true. People would think like people they're not going to take that seed and they're not going to let it grow. They're going to think it's full of shit.
yeah,
Along with you, you know?
yeah,
So it's just like you gotta I heard it before. I'm said you gotta meet people where they're at.
yeah,
And you first talk to them, understand them, and be like, oh, okay, all right. Use your
right.
discernment. That's where the ego comes in, or, remembrance of the ego. Remember who you used to be before and who they still remember, because they might not know you as this higher
So,
self, this higher being, this divine masculine or divine feminine, this God nature that you have about yourself. They might not even be able to feel it. It's a lot. I think I noticed what I'm starting to learn is that, a lot of people are on the path are going to notice your frequency before the people who aren't on your path. So they're not gonna be so just because you did all the work and you're glowing, you finally got your rainbow body, you're gonna you're gonna go back down and start mingling with everybody and they be like, oh, you're glowing. You look so divine. It's not gonna happen. They're gonna be like, what's up, man? You want some hot dogs? I don't need that no more, but I appreciate it. Thank you. You go ahead.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you might want to plant a seed and be like, they got this, that, and the third in there, but but use your discernment. Like I said, use your discernment. You might not want to hear that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the second you feel like you stepping on somebody's toes, fall back.
Yeah.
You're like, nope.
You go because all of it is the journey, and
Mm-hmm.
all is the choice.
Mm-hmm.
With the divine, with the Almighty, or the illusion, or the matrix, or however you want to call the divine, there is no wrong or right. It's a journey. The
Mm-hmm.
choice, and the divine in you is going to say, "Oh, that was a choice. Okay, and based on how you were given your body and your mind were given the opportunity to utilize your feelings and your emotions to help you move through making discernible choices.
Mm-hmm.
We're the only one that can put a right or wrong to it, but that helps us. You know, we're the only one that can say yes or no to it. That helps us. It points us in a direction. We're the only ones that can feel good or bad about it. That helps us. It moves us. It points us to a direction. And then the divine says to you only one thing. If you decide to vibrate in a negative, the divine will say, your wish is my command. Yes. Right? The
Mm-hmm.
divine gave us free will. And guess what? All those people that want to say, oh, God's will is my will. And if I haven't got what I asked for, it must be because God is changing it up on me. Nope. I believe that God gave us free will. It will never usurp it. It will only say yes to whatever we choose. So if we decide that we want to waller, as my mother used to say, or my grandmother used to say, in negativity, the
Mm-hmm.
divine say, okay, yes, not, that's bad, you shouldn't do it. But we've got our feelings, we've got our emotions, we've got our ability to discern them, and the divine is going to say, okay, I gave you all the tools. What do you want to do? What, kind of like rubbing those two hands together and saying, okay, let's go. What are we going to do now?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Just like it's just like I think a good example is when I decided to quit smoking 2 weeks ago, and it wasn't because someone said that's the spirit just said, you like this too much, you might want to take a break. It was my choice to be like, okay, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Because I could have been like, bullshit, I'm finna keep smoking because I don't think it's hindering me.
Mhm.
That's part of the free will.
Right.
But I'm glad that I made that decision because I'm able to see things more clearly and understand things more clearly
Mm-hmm.
and actually see that I might have been a bit arrogant when it came to me expressing my spirituality, expressing the growth that I've made it to. You know, Awareness is very important to have awareness, self-awareness. So that's what's one of the things I wanted to stress on here was just having self-awareness. Are you doing are you in the middle or are you just
Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
Mhm.
And the thing that I do, I read books, and I was reading one of Rhonda Byrne's books, and it was The Greatest Secret. And the greatest secret was that we are awareness. We
Mhm.
just have awareness. We are awareness. The
Mhm.
divine is awareness. And awareness is always aware.
Mhm.
So when you have a moment where you feel like the ego has all these conversations going on in your head, all you have to do to stop your ego for a moment of trying to latch on to all these thoughts and making them verbal to you is say, am I aware?
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm aware that I'm aware, or I'm aware that I'm awareness. And your ego, kind of like, if you could picture it in like a movie, um, you picture the ego moving back, going, shit, she found me out, and it's moving back, and the awareness of my inner being is moving forward and leans in and goes, oh, Sandy, what are you aware of? We like to know. Oh, I'm aware that I don't have to live in lack. So
Mm-hmm.
when you start thinking about the fact that I am energy, and if I am energy, I can be the energy of currency. That was one of the things that I realized.
Mm-hmm. That's
About
good.
instead of talking about I want abundance, well, abundance is very vague, okay? But I'm aware that I am the energy of currency, and currency is attracted to itself in any form.
Into
That
the
means money,
808.
right?
Yeah.
Right? It, it did. For me, it was like, shit. Ah, okay. The whole thing is now money money is currency too. So money can come to me in dollars and cents. Money can come to me or currency to me in a check. Currency can come to me in somebody donating something to me,
Mm-hmm.
or giving something to me. Now it's like, whoa, right?
Right.
And then what I've done is, the more I remind myself through the awareness, that awareness module that I've set up, my ego is getting, my ego doesn't have to leave me. It doesn't have to die. I don't have to kill it. I just have to give it a moment to retrain it.
Mm-hmm.
The more I do these modalities of allowing awareness to be there, my higher being can tap into my DNA to, to see, well, oh, I learn about peace. I'm here to learn about, you know, um, sadness, or what, all of these different things. And then if I'm tuned in and tapped into my spiritual being, sitting at the seat doing my work, my
Mm-hmm.
work, then I can also now be in this triune person. And I think all of this year has been this work in progress. And
Yeah.
I feel okay saying I'm a work in progress,
Yeah.
because it will always be a progress until this body and my spirit separate. And
Mm-hmm.
that's okay. It doesn't mean I'm imperfect. It just means I'm a work in progress.
Yep. The beautiful thing is that you're doing the work and you're making progress. That's, we get caught up in the destination instead of the
Yeah.
process. You got to enjoy the process so
Yeah.
then you can get to the destination. You don't enjoy the process, or you're not taking in the things that you've achieved along that road. You're gonna quit.
Yeah.
You're gonna quit because you feel like you haven't got there and you're never gonna get there.
Destination. And when you finally get to the destination, you go, instead of trying to break it down and trying to, judge it and everything, you go, oh, thank you very much, this chapter is closed, the end. Okay, where's my next book? And you start writing the next, right?
Yep. Because that process is what gave you the ability to create another chapter.
Yes.
The things that you've learned along the way.
Yeah.
You know, because when you quit and you don't and you try to do something else, you're not gonna learn anything. You're still gonna be in that same spot and probably gonna quit again.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how to stick to it.
Yeah. Yeah. e- eventually you get it, you
Hmm.
know. I think with me, I just want to, now that I know, I read the book, The Divine Design. Oh, that opened up so much stuff about my higher being and densities and polarities and everything that helped me to understand a little bit more about the Book of Ra, about the Law of One, about divine timing, about going with the flow of life, because we are the creators of our life. Whatever life is bringing to us, we created it. Whether we were conscious doing it or unconscious doing it, we created it. And when life is coming back around, because that's cause and effect. Life keeps coming back around to you. I'm finally learning that surrender to life and say, what do you want? What do you want to show me? And be open to it, because it's going to show you a point of entry, or it's going to show you that you don't want that anymore. And you can't just turn and walk away from it. You got to surrender it. You got to give all that energy that you put in something that you don't want or that isn't for our greatest good. You got to give it back to the divine, and you got to let the divine know, I found something else, or I'm going to try something else on. But you got to give that otherwise that energy is going to be out there, keep coming back to you.
Mm-hmm.
It wants
Yep.
direction. It wants you, the person that's sitting at the head of your table, at the head of your corporation called life, to give it direction. Either you tell it, we're going to put it into this, we're going to, like a corporation will do, we're going to X that, give it back to the divine and say, okay, what's next? What thought is next? And I'm learning that I've got to. I was sitting in the seat of my chair like this. I need to sit like this. What do kings and queens do on their thrones? They don't sit like this. They don't wait for other people to tell them what to do. They are sitting here and they're speaking their creation. We're kings and queens. We call ourselves that. Or gods and goddesses. We call ourselves that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what is it that we're embodying in ourselves that we can call ourselves that? And if embodying it, once we got it, then we got to release that energy. We
Mm-hmm.
got to turn into our own genie, right?
Right.
It's like
Yes.
Aladdin said, your wish is my command, and then said, your wish is my command. You can have anything you want. And then turned around and said, but you can only have three things. And here are the quick pro quos that you can't say. You can't ask me to make somebody fall in love with me. You can't do this and you can't do that. But the divine has infinite possibilities. Be your own genie. What do you want? How do you want it to look? And it's like, ah, right?
And then you go get it.
And that's right. But if you go generic and you don't put anything on it, women ask for a husband. Oh, I just want to be married next in 2024. But you don't give any definition to it. You don't know what you want. You don't give any I want him to I know me and I love me and I love to laugh. I love to play I'm just going to throw things out there. I love to play dominoes, and I love to swim. I love to go on a vacation every year. I would love to, uh, uh, to enjoy playing music with him, or I love to play flute. I would hope that he would love to have music or something, and start defining yourself. And in defining yourself, then you can say, I don't want a mirror of me, but I would love for him to enjoy those things, and then
Mhm.
I would love to enjoy those things that he loves to do,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So that we're partners, right? We're confidants to each other. Then now you're breaking it down into the list, and then you can say, and make this so. Right.
Because
Right.
you could say you want to be married and then you get somebody that's not right for you. They could be abusive, but you married.
But
You got what you wanted.
you, yeah.
You gotta be specific.
Or you could, just go, well, the Joneses down the street have a flat screen TV, and they have a big house, and they have a jacuzzi, and they're always dressed to the nine, and they look happy. I want what they got. But see, you know what goes on in, in
Inside.
inside,
You don't, yeah.
right? But but the divine is going to say, your wish is my command,
They're gonna give it right to you.
right?
hmm
I mean, so many nuggets.
Wow. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. I need to do this more often. I need to do this a lot more often. I'm working on it. I'm working on getting through, expressing myself on here a lot better. It just takes practice.
Yes, it
And
does.
thank you again for coming on here and sharing your wisdom. Um, I seen somebody wanted to come in, but I'm about to close
Yeah.
this. So see you around.
All right. Take care,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Peace.
Peace.